Hello and welcome everyone. I hope I'm audible to all. Just let me know. Just let me know once if everything is clear. You can hear me clearly. Good evening everyone. Daffodils ka revision. Okay, you will get one daffodils question because the paper that we are going to discuss today has daffodils. English 2 class 9th paper. Uh, Most welcome Vaibhav. Shant, thank you so much. Good evening, Krishanu. So let's start. First, a general intro for the ones who are new to my class. My name is Reshma Mukherjee, as is the name of the channel, and I have certain updates that is interesting that will be interesting for you. The thing is, in my channel, you will get ICSE, ISE topics, class 9, 10, 11, 12. All explanations and everything is present over there. You can find it in the playlist, and other than that, you get a lot of questions discussed in the MCQ. There is a separate playlist for MCQs. You can log into that and check. You don't have to log in, just have to go there and check. Then you have the question answers discussion subjective. These live classes are all about question papers, the board papers that we are discussing over here, sample board papers, the pre-board papers of different schools we are discussing. So you can practice from there in the live classes and ask the doubts directly. Other than that, this lotskill.com, which is my website, this also I have been updating for some time now. What is the meaning of sloth skill? Sloth is actually an animal. If you search it in Google, you will find it is a very slow kind of animal. It has a slow pace. Okay. So generally we take time to learn something. So we develop the skill slowly. So I have decided naming it sloth skill. You will get your materials class 11 12 because we cannot bring too many videos over here in the live classes. I have updated lot many questions, almost all important questions from darkling thrush, all important questions from your tempest. You will get over there long answer type. You can prepare from there. You can find out the quotes which is important. Rest of it also you will act foreseen one. For example, you have it the whole explanation over there line wise. And other than that, you can join the Telegram channel and stay updated. I share the link over there so you get daily updates. Um, Another thing, write about the class timings, but before that, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Doubts to be asked at the end of the class, okay? After I finish, because here also we are discussing few questions. So after we finish discussing the questions, I will give you 10-15 minutes time to ask the doubts. Then you ask me all your doubts, okay? Mayank, good evening. Tuesdays and Saturdays you have 9:30 to 9:45 class. It starts around 9:30. Maximum 9:45 it will start. Thursday and Sunday you have 8:30 p.m. class. Okay, take a screenshot of the class timings because these will be very important informative ones before your exam, and we'll keep practicing these many question papers. And you can share your own question papers also. If you want to share, you can share them. Anything that you want to discuss as a question paper sort, if you can write them down in a PDF, you can send it to me. We will discuss that. Send clear and scan pictures, and it has to be sent in this email ID. Write down the email ID or take a screenshot, because don't send in Telegram channel. You can only send over here in the email ID. I will send you one mail again that I have received. Once you get that, you will be sure that your mail has been received and it will be discussed. Language का pre-board है Ayushi. Okay, Ayushi, you will get lot many. Even last class I kept one grammar series only. You can practice from there. Mm, Shant, after 2 years, so you will not be doing MOV, so let's not think about it. Let's begin with our topic. See, last class, for last three classes, we were discussing this paper. First, we discussed the MCQ part of this paper. Then we moved on to the Merchant of Venice part, section B drama part. You will get the answers of all these, okay? Subjective or objective, you will get it. Short stories also we have discussed. And last, we have come to the poetry part. Today we will be discussing the poetry part. Keep practicing from here. All doubts in the last, okay, after I finish the discussion of this particular paper, then you tell me, okay. I'm sitting with the treasure trove book today. Merchant of Venice, you can ask me, but I don't have the book. So if it is line wise, I have to sit with the book, then we can discuss. Otherwise, treasure trove, you can ask anything, I have the book over here. Now it's fine. Slide buffering. Mayank, I even told you that day, no, I mailed you. It will be by, if you are saying that I traveled by bus. Okay, but the sentence that you wrote, that will be in only. Ma'am is correct. Okay, the sentence that you sent me in the email, that will have in only because you are traveling inside it. Okay, but travel by car, I reached there by car. Okay, all right. So let's start with the poetry part. I hope now there is no lag. Just check once. Okay. So these are long answer type questions. So I will give you the answers of these questions. Then you can even tell me whatever you think the answer will be. Okay. Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle in the Milky Way, they stretched a never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. This is our extract. The first question says, with what does the poet compare the daffodils? Explain the resemblance. Okay, there is a buffering. Wait, then I will have to, you have to wait for some time then. Let us check and come back. Okay, just a minute, I'll just come back. I hope it will be fine now. Just let me know once, then we can continue. Okay, so with what does the poet compare the daffodils over here? Clear. Okay, with what does the poet compare the daffodils? So over here in this particular extract, it is asked, right? So we will have to say that the daffodils are compared to the continuous line of stars in the galaxy. Okay, or the galaxy, you can say, the sky, you can say, particularly Milky Way, you can say. Okay. Now we have to explain the resemblance. First line, simply we are going to write that the daffodils are compared to the stars, to the line of stars. Bas, full stop. Now you go to the next line, change your paragraph, and then you write the resemblance. How you will write? You will have to say that the daffodils are or bright yellow flowers which are growing all along the bay or the water body, and they are continuous. There is no gap in between. So it looks like there are 10,000 flowers altogether. Similarly, it is quite similar to the continuous line of stars in the galaxy or in the sky. That's it. That's with your resemblance. Okay. No doubts. This is very simple. As simple as that. Next one, let's move to the next one. Explain the lines. They stretched in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. This is as simple as that. They stretched in never-ending line. You have to explain this. Same as this one. You have already explained the resemblance. So your question number 1 and question number 2 is almost similar. We simply have to write that the flowers are bright yellow colored flowers which are growing all along the bay or the water body, the lake district if you want to be particular. Okay, and when William Wordsworth saw it, he compares it to the the stars, which is also continuous. Here we will not talk much about the stars. We will simply talk about the bright yellow flowers growing all along the bay, okay, all along the water body. There is no gap in between, and therefore it seems that there are thousands of flowers along the bay. Akshita, the golden daffodils have been compared to the stars that shine in the Milky Way galaxy. Correct, Akshita. Stars that shine in the Milky Way, which are never ending. That is, there are many daffodils that shine like stars. Okay, don't write that is. Quite similar, you can say. Yes, Akshita, your answer was correct. Uh, Trishanu, which one you want once again? Crowd of daffodils were stretched in a line that has no end. They grew along the margin of a bay and tossed their head. Yes. In second question, like in the first question, we were writing about the stars. Comparison वाला part को importance देना है. नंबर 2 में क्या लिखना है? नंबर 2 में किस सिर्फ वो डैफोडिल्स कहाँ पे है, कैसे स्ट्रेच में है, कोई गैप नहीं है, बहुत सारा येलो कलर फ्लावर्स है along the margin of the bay, ये लिखना है. Number 1 is very simple. No? With what does the poet compare the daffodils? He compares the daffodils to the stars as it is mentioned over here. Now, इसका resemblance मतलब comparison लिखना है. Okay? Comparison लिखना है कि ये जैसे stars एक के बाद एक ऐसे line में होते हैं, मिल्की वे में हो कि गैलेक्सी में हो कि स्काई में हो. Similarly, the daffodils also grow in a line. There is no gap in between. ठीक है? Let's move to the third question. Third question is also very simple. Why does the poet say, this is an incorrect grammatical mistake, okay? This one will be C. Why does the poet say 10,000 saw I at a glance? What literary device is used here and why? ये कैसा पेज खुल रहा है बार बार? Sorry, very sorry. So why does the poet say 10,000 saw at a glance? This one is of course what literary device is used over here. Why does he say this? What literary device is used here and why? So why का आंसर क्या होगा? Why का 3 parts है इसके, ठीक है? No, don't immediately jump onto hyperbole. इसके पहले भी एक question है ना कि क्यों 10,000 saw I at a glance बोला? Why? This is also a question. Okay. So the poet says 10,000 saw I at a glance because he wanted to emphasize or elaborate on the huge number of flowers, or exaggerate, you can say. Exaggerate would be the right word. Exaggerate मतलब बड़ा चढ़ा के किसी कुछ बात बोलना. Okay. For example, I scored good marks, I say I scored 100 out of 100. बहुत बड़ा के बताना ऐसा है. तो exaggerate करके poet wants to say because when he looks at a glance, he sees thousands and thousands of daffodils. There is no gap in between, only yellow, all the field yellow. That's why. What literary device is used? This is hyperbole. Hyperbole, okay? The pronunciation is hyperbole. Hyperbole is used why? Because hyperbole is a figure of speech where we can exaggerate an idea. Here, the poet had to exaggerate the beauty, the bright yellow colored white flowers, okay, the daffodils. So he used this kind of a figure of speech. Correct. Mayank's answer is correct. Let's move to the fourth one. What is meant by the margin of the bay? This is also very simple. Very simple questions has come from daffodils. Okay. Margin of a bay मतलब क्या है? मतलब वो जब घूम रही थी वो लेक डिस्ट्रिक्ट था. तो वो जब एक टर्न लेके वो लेक डिस्ट्रिक्ट के सामने आया तो उसने देखा क्या कि पूरा एकदम मतलब साइड बाय द बैंक ऑफ दैट बे or by the bank of that water body there was a constant stretch of bright yellow wild flowers called daffodils. Okay, so that is what it means by margin of a bay. Next, number 5. How are the daffodils described here? Again, similar kind of question, and it is given what here. So in this particular stanza only, whatever you know, we have to write. Good evening, Prashant. How are the daffodils described here? The daffodils grow here in large numbers. They are all bright yellow colored flowers and they are wild flowers. They grow, but there is no gap in between. They are quite like the stars in the sky or the Milky Way or the galaxy. They are golden in color. Yes, they are golden. And that's all. Nothing else you have to write about the daffodils over here. And you can add one line because it is a 4-mark question. You can say that they are growing beside the lake beneath the tree. Okay. So many questions from daffodils we have done. All of them, whatever channel, you can score all the get all the marks that you have in daffodils. फिगर ऑफ स्पीच अच्छे से करके जाना क्योंकि फिगर ऑफ स्पीच से मार्क्स ज्यादा आता है. Okay. Free bird thinks of now this one I know why the caged bird sings. This one at the end of the class. Okay, at the end of the class, my voice is not coming. Is it? Still not coming? Still not coming? Yes, it is coming. I just checked in my phone. Voice is breaking. Voice is breaking. From my phone, I can hear it clearly. Maybe some network issue or something. Let's move to the next one, which is I know why the caged bird sings. The free bird thinks of another breeze, and the trade wind soft through the sighing trees, and the fat worms waiting on their dawn-bright lawn, and he names the sky his own. This is our extract. Now, from our extract, the first question: what elements of freedom are seen in the description of the free bird in this stanza? Now, in this particular question, there are some what should I say, tricky questions. I will give you the answers. Then if you want, you can tell me what you want to write. Okay. I'll give you the whole answer so that later on, if you want, you can write them down also. What elements of freedom are seen in the description of the free bird in this stanza it is mentioned. ये stanza में elements of freedom क्या है? Elements of freedom another breeze we have. Okay, then what are these free birds doing? They're searching for fat worms. So how will we frame our answers? I will give you the answer over here. We will write what? first question's answer, you can write them down if you want. The poem's first key insight about freedom pertains to what a free being is allowed to think about. This can be your first line. That the poem's key insight is what? The first thing is that, see what a free thing or a free bird is capable of doing. Okay. Then putting that, this is our introductory line, and putting that more concretely, to put that he is using certain elements of freedom, some certain examples that put that what are the different ways the free bird can enjoy its life. Okay. So, because the free bird is well free, it never has to think about its own freedom. It does not even have to bother about freedom. No, once it is, once it has enjoyed one breeze, it is waiting for another. It is not worried that I will not get it, I'll protect it, I'll save it for another day. No, so it does not even have to think about its freedom. Second, the free bird spends its time living, okay, enjoying. Then what? Doing whatever it wants. Okay. Then when the free bird thinks, it is only of, what is it thinking of? It is thinking of another breeze. So here what are the signs? Another breeze. He has to think about, he thinks about fat worms. Okay, that means good, delicious food. Not only food, good food, delicious food. Thus, for the free bird, freedom is what? Is natural, it's subconscious. It's not even in your conscious mind. You just enjoy it. The free bird never has to think about freedom. It simply is free for them. Okay. So any doubt over here you ask me, then we will move to the next question. इसमें थोड़ा सा questions tricky है. आप पूछ लो जो भी difficult लगे आपको. I can repeat. Then we can move to the next one. क्लियर है? क्वेश्चन नंबर 1 एकदम क्लियर है? आई एम गिविंग यू द एग्जैक्ट आंसर्स, प्लीज रिपीट. अच्छा, एलिमेंट्स ऑफ फ्रीडम, यहाँ पे ये फ्री वर्ड को देख के इसमें कौन सा अच्छा क्लियर है. वंस आई विल रिपीट फॉर ए बी सी डी. Another breeze is one example and fat worms is another example of what? Of elements of freedom. Okay. This one, elements of freedom. These are the elements that tell us कि इसको freedom. When you are listening to the video once again, write down the answers. Here I am just giving you a gist of it. From another breeze, from fat worms, we can understand that the free birds do not have to think about freedom. It's there in the subconscious mind. उसको इजीली मिलता है तो वो सोचते नहीं है. वो किस बारे में सोचते हैं? कैसे एंजॉय करें लाइफ, कैसे हाउ टू लिव लाइफ टू द फुलेस्ट. वो सोचते हैं कि एक ब्रीज मतलब इट्स नॉट इनफ फॉर इट, इज वेटिंग फॉर अनदर वन. इट्स नॉट वरीड कि मिलेगा कि नहीं मिलेगा. उसको सिर्फ खाने में इंटरेस्ट नहीं है, बहुत अच्छे खाने में इंटरेस्ट है. तो फैट वर्म्स, अनदर ब्रीज, दीज टेल अस दैट it is well off. It does not have to think about freedom like the caged birds. ठीक है ना? अभी हम नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन पे चले. हाउ हैज द फ्री बर्ड बीन डिस्क्राइब्ड अर्लियर? हाउ हैज द फ्री बर्ड बीन डिस्क्राइब्ड अर्लियर? फर्स्ट आई टेल यू द आंसर, देन यू टेल मी if you have a particular type you want to say. I'll listen to that. First listen, how has the free bird been described earlier? So आपको पूरा stanza wise याद रहना चाहिए कि आगे क्या बोला था पोएट ने. फ्री बर्ड को पहले फर्स्ट स्टैंजा में डिस्क्राइब किए थे ना, रिमेंबर? सो इन द फर्स्ट स्टैंजा व्हाट वाज द डिस्क्रिप्शन? दैट इज ओनली आस्क्ड. फ्री बर्ड का डिस्क्रिप्शन ये स्टैंजा से सिवा अलावा फर्स्ट स्टैंजा में भी था. व्हाट वी आर गोइंग टू राइट, लिसन. It is worth noting the ways in which the free bird enjoys its freedom. This can be your introductory line. Okay? The speaker says in line number 7 that the free bird dares to claim the sky. You can quote this line, dares to claim the sky. You may not write कि line 7 में है. Simply ऐसा लिख सकते हैं कि the free bird dares to claim the sky as its own and repeats this sentiment again after some time. In line number 26. Despite all the freedom the bird already has, it already has so many freedom, it continues to seek more from the world. Okay, it thinks that the freedom that it gets is natural. It's something that it deserves. Okay, and it's all very happy and is ready to claim the sky its own. Okay, so if you want to write in detail you can write more, but it's not required. So simply you can talk. It is difficult to not to see this insight is referring more broadly to the ways of the free people who enjoy all the types of freedoms and they are not even aware of what is happening to the African Americans or the black people. written or understood? Clear? We'll move to the next one. Okay, let's move to the third question. How has the poet described the caged bird's movements? Movements को कैसे describe किए हैं? Okay, important question. How we will frame this? Number 3, first listen, then you tell me your answers if you want. Caged bird के movements के बारे में बोलना है. The caged bird, unlike the free bird, is completely immobilized, right? इसमें तो caged bird के लिए पूछे गए हैं, तो caged bird का movement ही तो नहीं है, वो तो move नहीं कर सकते. पहला इंट्रोडक्टरी लाइन ही ऐसा होगा कि caged bird unlike the free bird is completely immobilized, they cannot move. Not only is the bird held captive in the cage, but its wings are clipped and feet tied, right? This we will have to write. Its wings are clipped and its feet tied. Thus, even if the bird were to escape his cage, even if you break one barrier, you have other barriers. Even if you break out of the cage, you will see what? You cannot fly because your wings are clipped, feet tied, right? So the total immobilization of the caged bird represents the layers of discrimination of the marginalized people, okay, the black people, the African Americans. Okay? That will be the end of your answer. So subjected to repeated, like they are, they are doubly deprived, you can say, DOUB. This one clear? No doubts. Caged birds movements. So in particular, you have to remember what are the movements. In particular, you have to remember कि आगे कैसे free bird को describe किए. Okay. Third one done. Come to the fourth one. What does the poet continue to say about the caged bird's thoughts? Now, इसमें differently questions पूछे गए. This one's questions are very good. Prepare them. Okay. These kind of questions are common, likely to come if this poem actually comes. What does the poet continue to say about the caged birds? Restricted, feet are tied, wings are clipped, vision is Vision is not captivated, they can see. Okay, but they cannot move. They can only be angry about not being able to mobilize themselves. Okay. What does the poet continue to say about the caged bird's thoughts? Now, what is the caged bird thinking? What do we have to say about that? And what is the essence of the song of the caged bird? So, what we will write about this one? Let's hear first. The caged bird. Now, in points, I'm telling you, what does the poet continue to say about the caged bird's thoughts? The caged bird thinks of freedom, although it is restricted in manifold ways. Okay, फ्रीडम के बारे में सोच रहे हैं लेकिन बहुत तरीके से उसको रेस्ट्रिक्ट किए गए हैं. नंबर 1, he looks through the bars of the cage in despair and in anger. देख रहे हैं केज के थ्रू लेकिन कुछ कर नहीं सकते हैं तो बहुत ही गुस्से में है. Now we will come to the essence, the second part of the answer. What is the essence of the song? इसमें क्या लिखना है? The caged bird sings as all the other ways of gaining freedom is taken away from it. You cannot run away, you cannot run here and there, call people, say this and that. So the only way that remains is, you cannot come out of the cage also, the only way remains is you sing. You sing so that the song reaches out to people. And what will happen then? Let others know the plight that they are facing. Plight मतलब कि problems. जो problems वो face कर रहे हैं उसके बारे में गाना गा के उसको सुनाओ ताकि सबको पता चले. And those soulful sad songs, although they remain unheard and misinterpreted, because उन लोगों को लगता था कि गाने बहुत अच्छे गाते हैं ये लोग, मीनिंग उसको समझ आने से भी वो इग्नोर करते थे. So the essence of the song is to let people understand that we are suffering, help us. But or understand that freedom is necessary for us too. So that is the essence of the song. Okay. Anything from question number 4 that you want to ask? I'll wait here. If you have to ask anything till question number 4, tell me, then we will move to the last question from the caged bird. The caged bird sings this song asking for his freedom as his wings are clipped and he is not left with any other option except singing. He wants people to hear the song and realize their plight. This point you add, and you have told the answer of the second one. The first part का answer में वो लिख लेना जो I have discussed. Meaning of essence. Essence मतलब in one word how can you put essence? Essence मतलब कि for example you get the essence of something, you get the idea, the yes, you can say idea, okay, the nature of it, or you can say the reality or the core of it. What is in the core? What is the idea of it? Okay, let's move to the last one, number 5. How does the contrast between the free bird and the caged bird highlight the various irresolvable conflicts that exist in the society? How does the contrast between the free bird and the caged bird highlight the various problems? Irresolvable means something that you cannot resolve, something that you cannot solve. Okay. So this contrast is not just in the, this is a very good question. You can write it down somewhere and prepare. कॉन्ट्रास्ट क्या है? फ्री बर्ड और केज बर्ड तो दो एक्सटेंडेड मेटाफर्स हैं. एक्सटेंडेड मेटाफर का क्वेश्चन भी आएगा. ये एक्सटेंडेड मेटाफर्स है. पूरा स्टोरी में एक ही मेटाफर है. फ्री बर्ड का मतलब अमेरिकन, केज्ड बर्ड का मतलब जो अफ्रीकन अमेरिकन है जिसको मार्जिनलाइज्ड सेक्टर में डाले गए हैं. सो ये जो कॉन्ट्रास्ट है ये प्रॉब्लम, सोसाइटी का प्रॉब्लम है. इसके बारे में कैसे हाईलाइट किए? व्हाट वी आर गोइंग टू राइट, लिसन. Using the extended metaphor, so we will start our answer with this. Using the extended metaphor of these two birds, you can mention the free bird and the caged bird. Maya Angelou paints a critical portrait of oppression. Okay, बहुत ही मतलब what you can say very bad picture, a bad picture of oppression, of how people oppressed others. Okay, in which she highlights the privilege of the free bird, okay, of the unoppressed, you can say, who is represented by the free bird, and what else, and conveys the simultaneous experience of suffering of the caged bird or the oppressed ones, okay. In particular, the poem's extended metaphor can be seen as portraying what? Of course, the black people in America, the plight of the black people in America. This caged bird is an extended metaphor for the black community's past, and even at the present scenario, we see that they are suffering to some extent. Okay. What is this? This is of course racism. This highlights racism in the US in particular, and can also be read as portraying the experience of any oppressed group. It even happens in here, no? The different variations we have: Brahmins, Kshatriyas, scheduled caste, scheduled tribes. So these backward classes, they are suffering over here. Any oppressed group, this is the scenario. The metaphor captures the overwhelming sadness, agony, cruelty, that is, cruelty on the oppressed or the marginalized community, you can call them, by relating it to the emotional suffering of the caged bird, whose feet are tied, wings are clipped. Okay, that tells us about the suffering of the caged bird. Okay, that's all about the fifth question. If you have any doubt, ask. Just you can revisit the same video, write down the questions. Okay. Free bird is free to claim the sky, that is, he provide with every privilege in society, whereas the caged bird. Which chapter? See, over here it's mentioned, no? I know why the caged bird sings. Aryan, you have simply written about the conflicts. We have to mention particularly about the conflicts in the society. यहाँ पे free bird और cage bird के बारे में क्या क्या बोले गए हैं, we don't have to write over here. That though we have already written in 1, 2, 3, 4. Fifth one is about the society. Racial discrimination, social and economic suffering of the caged bird, African American during apartheid. 3 points correct. Would can be used to refer to an act which will be completed in few. Correct, mind. Okay, so this is our 5 questions done. We have completed 2 poetry questions, and as a result, Seattle people would or will have no right to their lands. Would or will. No problem, Akshita. There you will visit the recorded. This is a good chapter. There are good questions from the I know why the cage bird sings. Mayank, write the full sentence. Half a sentence, it becomes difficult to understand. Full sentence you write. So yes, so write down the answers if you require them, because these are good questions. Mention extended metaphor also as a point, that can also be a good question. Okay, it can come. So we have completed this paper, literature paper. Yash, I think this is Yash's paper, Yash's language paper also we discussed last class, I believe. Next class, you tell me whether you want literature or language. According to that, we will discuss. Bars of rage refers to the dash on black Americans: oppression, suppression, exploitation, limitation and restriction. Limitation and restriction होगा number D. Okay. Bars of rage. Lakshita, you have sent same name. I will check. Okay. According to one after the other, we will do no, because otherwise the others will be feeling bad about it. Bars of rage मतलब ऑपरेशन तो है ही, सपरेशन भी है, एक्सप्लॉइटेशन भी हो रहा है, लेकिन यहाँ पे इन पर्टिकुलर क्या है कि लिमिटेशन है, वो बाहर निकलना चाहते हैं लेकिन वो लिमिटेशन है, तो वो होगा नंबर डी. ओके आर्यन. So that's it. If there is anything else you want to ask me. Next class we will start with some phrasal verb also. We will discuss that. And so you keep hearing, because still there is some time for your board exam. Uh, English is the first exam, no? Page 85. What is 85? Last paragraph. Okay. Joe did not see the guardians of the poor on that day, on the next, nor on the following day. That means Joe and his wife became so very fond of the girl that they previously the wife told no कि अभी इसको वो poor house में छोड़ के आओ, लेकिन वो जा नहीं पाए क्योंकि attachment बढ़ गए उनका. ठीक है? And they did not go. In fact, he never saw them at all on Maggie's account, for in less than a week, Mrs. Joe Thompson would as soon leave thought of taking up her own abode in the almshouse as sending Maggie there. मतलब पिक्चर ऐसे हो गया जैसे हम लोगों के पेरेंट्स नहीं करते हैं कि what is it? हाँ 1 मिनट. हम लोगों के पेरेंट्स ऐसे नहीं करते कि कहीं पे जाना हो तो बोलेगा कि हम भी साथ में आते. ऐसा हो गया कि अभी अगर मैगी को आर्म्स हाउस में, वो पूर हाउस में छोड़ना पड़ा, तो वो भी जाके, मतलब जो थॉमसन का वाइफ भी जाके वहीं पे रह लेगा. ऐसा सिचुएशन हो गया. मतलब छोड़ने का कोई चांस ही नहीं है, दोनों अलग रह नहीं पाए. देयर इज नो पॉसिबिलिटी दैट दे विल स्टे अवे फ्रॉम ईच अदर. ऑलराइट. Enjambment का मतलब क्या होता है? See, for example, if you start sometimes you will see in a particular poem. Now तो I don't have an example, but for example you are writing a line, I went to. Now this is not your complete sentence, correct? This is not a complete sentence, so you move to the next line, I went to. Now next line you're coming and writing the hall to watch a movie. Okay, so watch a movie पे आके फिर full stop दिया, हमारा sentence वहाँ पे जाके खत्म हुआ. तो पहला वाला sentence I went to, this is not a complete sentence. Does not even have any uh, punctuation, comma. If there is no punctuation and it is not a complete sentence also, हम नीचे वाला sentence में आ जाते हैं. It is a continuation, तो वो enjambment होता है. Alright, clear? The Blue Bead is written in a didactic style, humorous style, descriptive and narrative style, reflective style. सी डाइडैक्टिक का मतलब है, ये मीनिंग आपको समझ आएगा तो आप खुद ही आंसर कर जाओ. डाइडैक्टिक का मतलब क्या है? किसी को कुछ सिखा रहे हो, मतलब मॉरल कुछ है स्टोरी में, वैसा हो. तो डायरेक्टली देयर इज नथिंग सो माने मोरलिस्टिक. मोरल इज देयर बट इट इज नॉट डायरेक्टली दैट. देन ह्यूमरस, नो ऑफ कोर्स नॉट ह्यूमरस. ह्यूमरस का मतलब है फनी, पर ये नहीं होगा. रिफ्लेक्टिव मतलब आप कुछ सोच सकते, मतलब रिफ्लेक्टिव सारे स्टोरीज ऐसा वाला होता है, राइट? You start thinking about CBR's plight, what are the problems he faced, how that kind of a girl was so courageous. All these are reflective, but the style is what? Descriptive and narrative. So much details is written, no, how you will walk from CBR, sorry, what is the name of that girl? CBR only, na? वो लड़की कितना, मतलब दूर से आते आते वो फॉरेस्ट छोड़ के फिर रिवर के पास आके रिवर क्रॉस करके फिर हिल पे चढ़ते हैं, फिर वापस आते हैं, फिर वो क्रोकोडाइल इतना लंबा चौड़ा. वो क्या है? डिस्क्रिप्टिव है ना, नरेटिव स्टाइल है, बहुत सारा घुमा फिरा के डिटेलिंग में लिखा है. फिर भी नंबर B, sorry, number C. फिर पैराबल का मतलब what is it? Parable meaning what? It is a very, it is a very, it is a short story जिसमें एक spiritual lesson है. For example, when you talk about what you should do, what you should not do, okay, moral story, that kind of thing is a parable. uh, it's a question in MOV that who solved the final conflict in Ring episode. When I refer to the book, it is not mentioned there clearly. It is a question MOV that who solved the final conflict in the Ring episode. Ring episode तो पहले ये भी मुझे ठीक से याद नहीं आ रहा है, फिर भी I'll just think and it will come to the point. पहले तो they started fighting, Graciano and Nerissa. फिर पोर्शिया और ये भी इन्वॉल्व हो गए, पोर्शिया और बिसैनी. फिर बीच में कौन आ गया? एंटोनियो आके आके बोला ना, all these trouble has started because of me. Remember when Bassanio said that it was an unforeseen circumstance for which I could not say no to that person, I had to give it. Then Antonio comes and interferes and says कि ये सारे problem मेरे वजह से हो रहा है. तो Antonio is the one who finally resolved the conflict. Okay. फिर पोर्शिया को लगा कि एक गेस्ट है मेरे घर में, okay, and how this is not the way I should behave. Okay. Antonio is feeling bad about it. So the thing was resolved. हाँ, दैट इज व्हाट नो शी, उसने सोचा कि मतलब वो उसको आर्म्स हाउस में कैसे छोड़ेंगे. ऐसा हो गया कि जो थॉमसन का वाइफ भी खुद जाके वहां पे रहना, मतलब शी विल कंटिन्यू लिविंग देयर. Didactic means moral story. Abu Ben Adam. MKS, what do you want in Abu Ben Adam? Full explanation तो प्लेलिस्ट में मिलेगा ना, पूरा वो देख लो वहां से. डिफिकल्टी हुआ तो लाइव क्लास में पूछ लेना. Who is Salerio? Who is Salerio in a movie? Who is Salerio? You can say just a common man. You can say that they are friends of, not just friends, not only friends, but somewhat friends of Antonio living in Venice, or well wishers. Ah, yes, yes. Abu Ben Adam is a sorry, I'm saying parable. But he only has one dialogue that he is guilty that he fooled. हाँ, that is what resolves, no? किसी ने आके थर्ड पर्सन ने, बीवी मियाँ बीवी झगड़ रहे हैं तो पहले कोई और आके बोल दिया कि ये सब मेरे वजह से हो रहा है, मैं सॉरी फील कर रही हूँ, ऐसे मत करो. फिर ये बोल दिया तो क्या होगा? रिजॉल्व हो जाएगा ना. Anyway, that was just a joke that Portia was playing on Bassani, right? So you can say that Antonio was the one who indirectly resolved it. And then Portia herself thought that she should not behave in this way, and she said that it was me who came over there, took the ring. Alright. So that's all. If you want to share your question papers, there is still some time. You can share them. We will discuss them in the live class. And most importantly, जो भी discuss नहीं कर पाएंगे हम लोग, you get. Okay. So I'll put those also over there. You can find the answers from there, and you can keep practicing. Where you will send, if you want, you will have to send it in the PDF format to this email ID, reshmimukherjee24@gmail.com. Okay. After that, we are going to just write down the class timings. Okay. These are the class timings. Take a screenshot so that you don't miss the time. With what natural things that the poet compared himself in the end of the poem. May God make it greater. Figure of speech. Yes, you told me, I think, in the last class also. I will try to make it. Okay. These are the class timings, and once again, I'll show you the name of the website. You can search for materials over there. Comprehension, you practice from there because it becomes difficult to discuss that over here. Alright. Website, and you can join the Telegram channel. That's all. Hope to meet you in the next class, which is on Saturday. Okay, 9:30. Bye bye, everybody.